Alright, welcome. This is Ndog, and we are having the chance to look at a couple of really interesting games today. If you saw the video earlier, we took a look at Magicite? I don't know. And now we're looking at Infinity Wars animated trading card game. So a little bit about this game. It's in early access, being unlocked on Steam possibly tomorrow. Things can change with these early access releases, but possibly tomorrow this can be available on Steam for early access. It is designed, developed, and published by Lightmare Studios. Now, I am playing the pre-Steam version, I suppose, although it is so late in the hour before Steam's version is released. I don't know how many significant changes will be made, but that is worth pointing out. This is going to be a game that is going to be in early access, but it's also a game that's going to be free to play. Now, I don't know, the developer may have said, but I don't know what the pricing model is going to be. If you want to play early access, are you playing it as a free to play game? I don't know. If I go to the free to play page on Steam, it does appear as though this game is listed both in the free-to-play category and in the early access category. So that may mean that though it is in early access, it's going to be free to download and play, which if that's the case, that's great. I think that would make sense for a free-to-play game not to charge you when it has in-game purchasing abilities, not to charge you just to get into the game, even though it isn't in early alpha or beta or whatever it's in. So let's go ahead and look at the game here. This is, of course, is the main page. You know, you see that we can look at my profile, which the only thing I've done is played through. When you first start the game, it sort of forces you to play in a very short tutorial match. And then it basically releases you to the world and says, hey, why don't you start the campaign? Now, there's some interesting things here. You see my profile picture here. Well, it's the only option available, and just that's going to be a lot of what we see here in an early access type game. Card backs, so you can make the card backs look how you want to make them look, and I think that's one of the things they sell in the in-game store. Default battlefield, so the battlefield you're playing on. It keeps your stats. It does say coming soon though, so maybe not currently. Has faction levels, so the different factions you play with, it keeps up with your faction levels. So you can play, you can look at the store, and you can look at your cards, although the cards tab is not yet active. It says the cards menu is not available to you this time. So I think you have to hit level 2 according to this so that you can actually look at the cards you have. So let's look in the store here. Alright, so featured. We won't look at everything in the store, but you can get an Infestation pre-order 1 pack, a collection blister pack, or a collection booster pack. Different costs associated, potentially different content, but this is a trading card game. This is, you don't know what's going to be in these packs. So you see that these cost either 1,050 of the silver currency, the silver looking by color, I mean currency. I think that's the in-game currency. I think that's something you actually can earn in-game. And then 60 of the red or fire currency there. Get Lightmare points. See how it has the fire symbol? So I believe this is, if you want to purchase stuff with real world money, this is how you would do it. Right now it looks like PayPal is the only payment option, and it looks like buying 125 of these points for $1.10 AUD is the only option. So there are lots of things you can click on here in terms of what's purchasable. Here's the card backs, the battlefields, changing what the battlefields look like, so I'm sure they'll be adding lots more to this. But that's what the store page looks like currently. Alright, so what I think would be interesting, I really want to show, we'll go to play mode here and campaign. I want to show just a little bit of gameplay, just so that you get an idea of what's going on in this game. Now, you know, obviously there are a lot of trading card games, both digital and physical form. Now, the card game I've been playing the most of in recent months has been Hearthstone. So I've also played some Magic Online and some other things a little bit, but it may be that when I'm trying to make comparisons to things as we're talking through it, it may be that Hearthstone is sort of the point of reference, but we'll see. let's go ahead and start the campaign number 1. Defeat your opponent using a pre-constructed warpath deck is what this says. Smart use of your pack leaders will win this game. Remember to use your commanders. Alright, so let's just take a look here. Of course, the 5 cards down here are what we have in front of us. The cards over here are commanders, and this is our deck of cards that we'll be pulling from, 1 card at a time each turn. Just a quick overview here. The support zone is basically Infinity War's version of fatigue. So that's how they do the fatigue process, is they have you put a card into the support zone, and then they stay there until the next turn. And at that point, you choose whether or not you want to put them in the defense zone or the assault zone. The assault zone, of course, will be attacking to or through the opponent's defense zone. Your defense zone will be defending your base versus their assaulting creatures. Now, it's worth pointing out that some cards will have effects even when they enter the support zone, so the turn before they would even go from here. And there are lots of minion cards as well as some cards that are more abilities, and we'll get more into that as we get through this match, I hope. The health of your base is here, and then this is your morale. How does morale work? I don't know yet, just to be honest. It did not come up in that first tutorial mission it throws you through, so let's, we'll see if we can get a sense while we're playing this match. Alright, we have 6 resources, which this is a little different. When I played the tutorial mission, the first round we only had 1 resource, and then it went up by 1 each turn, so we'll see what this does. We're also starting with 75 health instead of 100 on both health and morale. Alright, so we have plenty of resources here. Let's see what our commander cards are. Unlimited character, Beast. It's one of many. It has 8 attack and 9 defense. It's a common. And then you can click again and minimize the card. Now down here we have a location. Cards of the Warpath cost 1 less to play. That's an untapped wilderness card. This is again one of many. Pack leader. While in combat zone, other beasts you control get +3/+3. So to have this out with other cards obviously gives it a gives those cards a big boost, and we have 2 of those in our hand right now. We also have this. It's an ability. Target character you control and target character an opponent controls on the battlefield deal combat damage to each other equal to their power. Forcing a fight there is what appears that card does. Alright, so we have 6 resources. One of the interesting things about this game is the trading post. I've never seen this. Shuffle hand into deck, draw a new hand -1. Pay 3, shuffle a card from your hand into the deck, draw a card. Pay 5, draw a card. Pay 9, increases base resources by 1. Very cool. So if you ever have extra resources that you don't need or want to use that turn, there are some other options at the trading post. So this card is interesting to me, playing this location, because it says cards of the Warpath. The only problem is I don't know what are cards of the Warpath. Let's go ahead and put, we have 6. Let's go ahead and put one of these guys in the support zone and one of these from our commanders. Alright, so that's used all of our resources. Our current hand size now states is 4. And then once you've done what you want to do, you click end turn. Now one of the cool things about this game is that both players, you and your opponent, are deciding what they're going to do at the same time. And when you click end turn, it is then resolved. So they're going to play Untapped Wilderness into their support and one of many into their support as well. And it looks like they got one of many into their defenses. We drew a new card, one of many. Now here's a mistake I made. When you play out of your command zone, you can actually play them directly to attack or assault. So that's something we should have done. Alright, so we can now go ahead and move, since it's been 1 turn, we can go ahead and move our support cards to either assault or defense. And I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put both in assault. We have 7 this time, so let's play a pack leader, and let's look at this card again. Equal to their power. So his power is 8, and his power is 8. So I don't know if there's any advantage in us forcing them to attack right now, forcing that fight. And there's nothing we can do with trading posts. It looks like we're going to have 2 resources left over. Now, if this card affects Cards of the Warpath, if all of these are Cards of the Warpath, then the opponent's going to be at a significant advantage here. So he put one of many into support. He also attacked our base because he put something in assault. Now, we have killed his creature. One thing I'm not crazy about, I like the art on these cards and the sort of themes of the different decks. I don't like this big red blob during the fight sequence. I wish they could figure out a way to do that, signify that, show that, hey, they're fighting, this is how much power was taken away from each one, without covering up the entire card with this graphic. But that's just a little thing. So we've taken him out, and both of our guys now have 8 and 1. So we now, I think, want to... We have 8 resources. We can put this guy into here, and that's going to increase the attack of our 2 cards over here. If we do that, that will use all but 3 of our resources. But I think we want to do that because we've now got attack of 22 over here. We can also, we have 8 resources. We haven't played anything yet. So we could go ahead and do straight into defense, and that would defend against him. That leaves 5. I think we'll go ahead and play this card, and that did impact how much all these cards cost, so we should have done that earlier. And so we'll go ahead and play one more into support instead of, again, causing the fight. So let's see what the opponent does here. He draws another one of many and puts one in defense. So we took his out, he did take one of ours out, and then we do 21 damage. He's going to take our guy out, but we also took both of his cards out with our 1 defender. And that's because of our pack leader being out on the board. Alright, so at this point we're looking pretty good. Our defense is 67, so his health is higher than his morale. So again, I need to figure out how morale works, and to be honest, I just haven't, and it may be the next video that we are able to determine that. So now we're up to 9 resources, lots of resources. I think we go ahead and put, I don't know, let's see. Of course, we don't move that card, that location just stays. Because we have more health, I think we continue to attack here. We really focus on attacking. We have 5 resources left, 3 resources left. Go ahead and do that. So we're kind of going all in here. Okay, so he did attack our base with that card. He took one of our guys out, but then we did 21 damage to his base again. We drew another one of many. Alright, so I think we can go ahead and do this here. That will at least defend against that. Possibly take out 2 of his guys if he ends up putting another one of many here in the assault zone. We'll go ahead and put a second pack leader over here, which is just going to increase the stats of all of our guys. We're up to 33. So by putting this here, that should go ahead and guarantee a victory this turn, I would think. We can also use our resources to play another commander into our zone, and just to be on the safe side, we'll put him in defense. And let's go ahead and do an attack here. Let's do a forced fight. And what we'll do is force these 2 to fight, I believe is what that's going to do. Let's see if that worked. Yep, there it is. So we did 66 damage to him. And that's going to be a victory. So let's see what we get once we do have a victory. We had 59 health, 63 morale, and we took him down to negative 33 health. Level 1, 0 experience. So we would now be on Warpath Campaign 2. So if we go to our profile, nothing was updated. No experience was given for that. So I don't know if you can also do these pre-made bots, and they increase in difficulty as you move past them. The Academy is where you start to learn basic things. So I don't know why we didn't get experience, if you have to complete the campaign to get it, or if maybe you don't get experience for campaigns at all, or if maybe because it's in early access, maybe that experience hasn't even been added in yet. That would be so strange, I would say. Alright, so one thing I do want to do is go ahead and go through, learn how morale works in Infinity Wards. Now there's different ones. Let's look at these. How do you go back? I guess just by clicking on that, exit campaign. Okay, Academy. We can go morale, learn how morale works. 2, trading post. 3, simultaneous turns, learn how to take advantage of Infinity Wars simultaneous turns. And 4, zone types, learn about the basic zones in Infinity Wars and how to take advantage of them. So that's pretty cool. It does not look like... Okay, there we go. Intermediate. Activated abilities, locations, artifacts, and initiative. That's how you do it. Advanced. Buffs and debuffs, bluffing game, Advanced Challenge 1, Advanced Challenge 2. So pretty cool Academy. I like the Academy. I like that they have matches set up or some sort of instructional thing set up to really take you through the different components of the game. Campaign, there are... It appears to be 7 campaigns. Now are all those in? I don't know. It is progressing campaign progress, so that makes me think maybe you do get experience when you complete the campaign. But let's go through this morale thing. This is an academy. This is going to teach us what morale is all about. Each player starts with a full morale bar. Whenever a player's creature dies, that player will lose some morale. If your morale ever reaches 0, you'll lose the game. Be sure to look after your army. So it's an incentive not to just throw away your creatures. You have to watch that morale bar. That's cool. Play a card. It's the only card we have. Let's see what this is. Again, it's just cool, but I just think that the art and the themes of these cards are really neat. You have some decks that have sort of more of the fantasy influence. Some that have, you know, the last one we played with the mushrooms had more of like nature, creatures and stuff. And then the first deck I used was more like science fiction, futuristic guns, just really cool. So I like the different themes of the different decks that I've seen so far. Look at this, Soldier of the Wall. All along the Great Wall of Jinhai, the soldiers look out along the demon waste, guarding against a sea of evil. Attack 3, defense 10. Alright, so that's obviously the card we're going to play, and then we'll end turn. We had 4 resources, we were only able to use 2 of them. He's playing an unending drone. Raise another unending drone from your graveyard. Wow. So they just keep coming back, huh? 2 of them they played. The Glorious Warrior, at the end of each turn, if Glorious Warrior is in a combat zone, the opponent loses 4 morale. Each creature has a morale cost shown just under their resource cost. This indicates how much morale that player will lose when the creature dies. Your opponent and ending drones have morale cost of 1, so they will lose 1 morale when it dies. Okay. So we want to play Glorious Warrior. Of course, these cards over here cost 12. It has flying, can only be blocked by characters with the flying. Unstoppable. Destroys an opponent's character while attacking. It will attack again. And that's awesome. I've shown Dragon of Wisdom, but that takes 12 resources, so we'll see if we're even still playing by the time that comes out. So we have to assume that these unending droids, both of them, are about to come into play. This has way more defense than attack, so I think we're going to play it in the defense zone and go ahead and end turn. Excuse me. So here is another unending zone that they're going to be able to play. So now we see the attack. takes him down to 8 health, and then down to 6 health. We got another defender. Dealt combat damage but survives. A player that dealt damage loses 4 morale. So another card that really impacts morale. We have 6 resources. Now this guy is pretty good attacking. If he's in a combat zone, the opponent loses 4 morale. So I think we want to go ahead and put him in the assault zone. And we've already got him down to 18 morale, so this should be over pretty quick. We'll play him there. Whoa. Play directly to the defense zone. So he didn't have a choice. He has vigilance, so he goes directly to defense. So that's going to be huge. It's about to be game over here for our opponent. So it looks like that just happened with the unending droid raised 1. We attacked his structure for 10. And he's going to lose 4 morale because he did damage to our invincible defender but did not kill him. Rally, you gain 15 morale. Rally is removed from the game. So this is an ability that costs 5. We have 7, and the trading post is not available to us in this match. So we'll go ahead and play this card. Let's watch our morales at 20. And see, this doesn't come into effect till we hit end turn, so it'll come into effect here after we hit end turn. We should go up to 35. There it is, and there's our morale. And his morale is going down very fast because of the cards we have up. If Yobo would die, he leaves the game instead, and you gain 10 morale. Another card that just directly attacks morale. It's pretty cool. This morale deck's pretty cool. Alright, so we've got 8. We can't play one of those, so we'll just play that. And this should be game over right here. Yeah, he's got tons of drones, but they're pretty weak. And he's losing morale every time one dies. His morale is at negative something. So there is a victory. Let's see again. I'm assuming in the academy we're probably not building experience points, but let's see. Could be the same thing if we couldn't complete the entire... Yeah, no experience. And let's see if it shows us. Campaign progress 3%. So if you want to join the game, if you use my code CF9F9, I would win special rewards, apparently. Play 3 merge deck games. Play 5 of Infinity Wards. Add 2 people to your friends list. So there's some quests here, I guess, that gives you things. All right. Okay, it does show that that's completed, so it is tracking that. Trading post, simultaneous turn, zone types. Back, you almost can't get to it because of the chat menu down here, the chat size. Intermediate, activated abilities, locations. So really some pretty cool stuff. Alright, let's wrap this video up because of what we've been able to do here. We've been able to show some of the cards, definitely get a sense of what the gameplay is like. The first campaign, which of course that match was very easy. I'm sure the difficulty will increase. One thing I'm not sure of is, okay, so player versus player unlocks at level 4. So we're going to have to assume that experience is already in. I can't imagine that even they would release it in early access without the ability to play player versus player matches. So I'm going to assume that you get experience, but you have to actually finish a campaign to get experience, or maybe even finish all of the basic academy matches. You would get experience. So anyway, this is Infinity Wars. I'm really excited about this card game, I've got to be honest. I had done a little bit of research before it came out and was very, very excited to be able to get involved in the game and play the game a little bit even before it hit Steam's open early access or beta process. And I'm just really excited. So I hope that this game continues to develop and add things in, although there seems to be a lot here already. And I'm a sucker for a fun strategic card game. So as always, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below this video. And until next time, we'll go ahead and sign out here.